here's some guidelines. Write code, lots of it. Follow along. So you're going to see me writing a lot of code, and I'm 100% going to make a lot of mistakes. So follow along if you can, and make the mistakes with me. So our first motto is, if in doubt, run the code. If that doesn't make any sense, if you haven't written much deep learning code before, don't worry, we're going to be writing lots of it. This motto is going to be ringing in your head. As much as you're going to look in the world through the different lens of trying to figure out how machine learning and deep learning can be used with almost any problem in your life, you're also going to be hearing this in your head as well. Explore and experiment. So our second motto is experiment, experiment, experiment. This is a great follow-on. If in doubt, run the code. We want to try as many different things as possible because when we're running experiments, I'm going to emphasize trying a lot of different small experiments. Why? Because that helps us, even if the experiment fails, it helps us figure out what doesn't work. And in a lot of cases, figuring out what doesn't work is often just as helpful or even more helpful than figuring out what does. Because how rare, in terms of anything you've worked on previously, how rare is it that you got everything you needed to do correct the first time? Especially in deep learning. I mean, chances are, for the problem we saw, for the deep mind figuring out how to write a deep learning architecture for protein folding, I can only imagine how many experiments they would have done to set that up. Now, motto number 3 is going to be visualize, visualize, visualize. And what I mean by this is if you're not sure of something in the code that we're writing, recreate it in a way that you can understand it. And oftentimes that will be visualizing it in a different way. So say we turn some sort of data into tensors. What do those tensors look like? Can we turn data into a tensor and then turn it from that tensor back into data? Those are the type of things we'll want to be looking at. Now, again, I cannot stress every point on this slide is worth writing down. Ask questions, including I'm going to put inverted commas here. You can't see what I'm doing, but I'm raising my fingers up towards this sky and I'm curling them in as if I'm saying the dumb ones. Because there is no such thing as a dumb question. You'll get very smart if you ask lots of dumb questions. So make sure if you don't understand something, you can do exactly what we've done. Go here. What is deep learning? You can search that for yourself. Spend 10 minutes reading here. You'll know a lot more than what you did before you asked the question. Or ask in any of the resources that you have available. So there's the Discord chat, and I'll put some more links in another resource of where else you can ask questions. Do the exercises. So each of the code notebooks of concepts that we have exercises attached to them. So I want to emphasize again, try them yourself, write lots of code before looking at the solutions. Now, this course doesn't cover everything, of course. If this is your first introduction to deep learning, you're going to quickly realize how broad the field is. So if you want to learn more on something, look it up. I want you to become an expert at searching for things that spark your curiosity. Share your work. If you want to learn something, I find, aside from doing it yourself or replicating it yourself, the next best way, or possibly even better, is to teach someone else. So if there's a concept that you've learned in this course and you want to really nail it, you want to get better at it, figure out how you can explain that to someone else. So maybe you write an article sharing how you've learned how to turn data into tensors, write a deep learning model with TensorFlow, figure out patterns in those tensors, and then turn those representation outputs from that neural network into some sort of human understandable output. Maybe you want to share that with others. That's going to be a great way to really cement your knowledge. Avoid the following things. Overthinking the process. So I can't stress enough, this comes back to our number 1 motto. If in doubt, run the code. Again, we're going to be learning so many different concepts. You're probably going to be overwhelmed at different points, but don't worry. Everyone who's learned anything has gone through the trouble of basically creating new patterns in their brain to understand the new concept that they're learning. So if you're overthinking the process, you're going to hold yourself back. And avoid the I can't learn it mentality. That's bullshit. You can learn it. All right, Enough talking. I love that fire. Let's do it again. Let's code.